Imagine a machine that can answer any question about Islam in seconds. Sounds amazing, right? But what if that very machine is quietly distorting the truth, confusing hearts, and even weakening your faith without you noticing? From spreading false knowledge to making spiritual laziness feel normal, from planting doubts to exposing us to hidden dangers, AI is reshaping how Muslims think, learn, and connect. But is it a blessing or a trap waiting to catch us? In the next few minutes, we'll reveal the hidden dangers of AI through the lens of Islam, why it can mislead even the most faithful, threaten scholars' authority, and what steps we must take to protect our hearts, minds, and the Ummah. Watch closely because how we handle this digital age could shape the future of our faith. Chapter 1: False Knowledge and Confusion. Let's start with the first danger. AI produces information extremely quickly. Suppose you ask, how many verses are there in the Quran? AI might reply, more than 6,000. Sounds correct, right? But the actual number is 6,236. A single mistake may seem small, but over time, it can create massive confusion. Or if you ask, tell me about the life of the Prophet ﷺ. AI will combine different sources, truth and falsehood can get mixed together. Islamic caution is clear. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Whoever deliberately lies in my name, let him prepare a place in hell." Remember, AI can provide incorrect hadiths or misleading interpretations. Imagine the danger if people blindly believe it. Chapter 2: Weakening religious authority. In the past, when a Muslim had a question about faith or daily life, they would turn to scholars, people who had studied the Quran, hadith, and centuries of jurisprudence. These scholars weren't perfect, but their guidance carried the weight of knowledge, experience, and, most importantly, taqwa, God consciousness. They could reason, weigh evidence, and exercise ijtihad, independent reasoning, to provide advice rooted in authentic Islamic principles. Today, however, the landscape is changing. Many now bypass scholars entirely and turn straight to AI. At first glance, it seems convenient. A question typed into a machine brings an immediate answer, but here lies the danger. AI is a tool, not a believer. It has no taqwa, no spiritual awareness, and no understanding of nuance. Its answers are drawn from patterns in data, not divine guidance or moral responsibility. Imagine someone asking AI for a fatwa. The machine might pull from a random online article, a forum discussion, or even a misinterpreted school of thought. Gradually, as reliance on machines grows, the line between authentic knowledge and errors begins to blur. People may unknowingly adopt rulings that contradict Islam, thinking technology is infallible. Over time, the respect for scholarly authority could erode, and the community's connection to genuine Islamic guidance weakens. AI is a tool with great potential, but without scholars guiding its use, it risks becoming a subtle force that diminishes religious authority rather than strengthens it. Chapter 3: Spiritual Laziness. AI has made Islamic knowledge almost instantly accessible. Open an app and you can listen to Quran recitations, watch tafsir videos, or read explanations of hadith all within minutes. On the surface, it feels like a blessing, but there's a hidden cost. In earlier times, acquiring knowledge was a journey. A young Muslim might spend months attending classes at a mosque, sitting patiently with a hafiz, learning tajweed, memorizing verses, and listening to scholars explain the wisdom behind each ayah. That process wasn't just about memorization, it purified the heart, built patience, and strengthened the soul. Every struggle, every moment of effort was part of the spiritual training. Knowledge was inseparable from tazkiyah, the purification of the self. AI, however, can shortcut the journey. Want to understand a verse? Click a button. Want to learn a ruling? Another click. The effort, the discipline, the reflection, so easily bypassed. This convenience risks creating a form of spiritual laziness, where Muslims consume knowledge but never internalize it. They might know the words of the Quran or the rulings of fiqh, yet their hearts remain untouched. Islam emphasizes that knowledge alone is insufficient. True growth requires both talim, learning, and tazkiyah, the purification of the soul. Without the struggle, the heart may never catch up with the mind. AI can teach, but it cannot cultivate sincerity, patience, or God consciousness. The question we must ask ourselves is, are we seeking knowledge, or are we merely clicking for convenience? Chapter 4. Anti-Islam Agendas. AI is not neutral. Most of the major AI systems today are developed and controlled by large Western organizations. While they can provide useful information, the reality is that the content they prioritize reflects the perspectives and agendas of their creators. This creates a subtle but real risk. AI can unintentionally or intentionally amplify anti-Islam narratives. Consider a simple example. A young Muslim, curious about their faith types, Islam, and terrorism, into an AI search. Instead of receiving a balanced explanation that separates extremist actions from the teachings of Islam, the results may highlight biased articles, sensational headlines, or one-sided opinions. Over time, repeated exposure to such content can plant doubt, confusion, or even shame in the minds of impressionable users. It doesn't always have to be direct hostility. Sometimes, it's in what's omitted. Interpretations of Quran and Hadith may be presented selectively, historical context ignored, and scholars' guidance overlooked. Slowly, a subtle distortion of reality begins to take hold. For younger generations growing up with AI as a primary source of knowledge, this is especially dangerous. Without critical thinking or access to authentic scholarship, they may accept misleading narratives as truth. What was once a protected space for learning, guided by teachers and scholars, is now exposed to algorithms that can shape perception according to hidden agendas. AI has enormous potential to spread Islam positively, but if left unchecked, it can also become a tool that spreads confusion, doubt, and even anti-Islam biases under the guise of convenience and objectivity. Chapter 5. Easy access to haram content. AI doesn't just make knowledge accessible, it also produces entertainment, and not all of it is harmless. Deepfake videos, explicit pornography, ultra-violent gaming, and addictive content are now easier than ever to find and consume. With just a few clicks, someone can be exposed to material that the Prophet ﷺ warned against. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Before the day of judgment, tribulations will come like a storm. This storm isn't only about physical hardship. It includes moral and spiritual tests. AI can become part of that storm if we're not careful. What used to require effort or risk is now available instantly, making temptation more pervasive and harder to resist. The danger is subtle. Excessive exposure to haram content doesn't just distract from worship, it reshapes desires, dulls spiritual sensitivity, and normalizes sinful behavior. A young Muslim might start with curiosity, then gradually develop habits that weaken taqwa, the consciousness of Allah in everyday life. Over time, these small compromises can accumulate into serious spiritual harm. AI itself is not inherently evil, it's a tool. But when its power is used to feed the lower desires of the heart without accountability, it becomes a double-edged sword. Islam teaches moderation, self-discipline, and accountability to Allah. The challenge today is not just avoiding sin, it's navigating a digital world where temptation is engineered to be unavoidable. The question is, will we remain mindful or let convenience and curiosity erode our faith? Chapter 6. Loss of humanity. As AI becomes a constant companion, there's a hidden danger. Humans can start to feel less human. When conversations with chatbots replace interactions with friends, when virtual relationships take the place of real ones, the warmth, empathy, and accountability that come from genuine human connection begin to fade. Islam has always emphasized the importance of community. The Prophet ﷺ taught that believers are like a single body. When one part suffers, the whole suffers. Brotherhood, sisterhood, and sincere friendships are not just social luxuries, they are spiritual necessities. They teach patience, empathy, and the ability to forgive and support. AI cannot replace that. A machine can answer questions, simulate conversation, or even mimic empathy, but it cannot feel, it cannot care, it cannot share in your joys or shoulder your burdens. Over time, constant reliance on AI for social and emotional needs can make people emotionally robotic, isolated, and disconnected from the human experiences that shape moral and spiritual growth. The danger extends beyond the individual. If entire communities begin depending on machines rather than each other, the fabric of the Ummah, the global Muslim community, weakens. Trust, compassion, and accountability diminish. Social bonds erode, and people may find themselves spiritually and emotionally adrift, surrounded by connections that feel real but are ultimately hollow. AI is a remarkable tool, but it cannot replace the soul-nourishing, heart-strengthening power of human connection. Losing that connection is not just a social loss, it is a spiritual one, and one that the Ummah cannot afford. Chapter 7, Job Insecurity. AI is changing the world of work faster than ever. Tasks that once required human skill, from writing to data analysis, even design and decision-making, are now being automated. For many, this promises convenience and efficiency, but for others, it brings anxiety, unemployment, and uncertainty. Jobs that families depended on for generations may vanish almost overnight, leaving a sense of instability and despair. In Islam, work is more than just a means to earn money. Earning a halal livelihood is an act of worship. The Prophet ﷺ said, "No one has ever eaten better food than that which he eats from his own work." Work shapes character, instills discipline, and connects us to society. It provides purpose and dignity, allowing individuals to contribute to their families, communities, and the Ummah. When AI replaces human effort, the danger isn't only financial, it threatens emotional and spiritual stability. A person may feel powerless, unneeded, or trapped in despair. Without a sense of purpose, the heart can grow restless, and reliance on AI may intensify, both for work and for personal validation. The challenge for Muslims today is to adapt, to learn new skills, and to find ways to integrate AI without losing the spiritual and ethical essence of work. Jobs may change, but the principle remains. Effort, intention, and sincerity in labor are acts of worship. AI can perform tasks, but it cannot replace the human dedication and spiritual reward tied to earning a livelihood with integrity and faith. Chapter 8. Questioning Morality. AI does not know right from wrong. It has no conscience, no understanding of morality, and no fear of Allah. It simply follows algorithms and instructions programmed by humans. This creates a profound dilemma. While AI can be a tool for good, it can just as easily be misused to harm, mislead, or corrupt. Imagine someone using AI to spread lies, fabricate stories, or create anti-Islam propaganda. Or consider AI being employed to subtly weaken people's faith, sow doubt, or amplify confusion. The machine itself is not sinful. It cannot sin, but humans remain fully accountable for how they use it. In Islam, intention matters. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Actions are judged by intentions." If a human directs AI to cause harm, manipulate hearts, or mislead the Ummah, that person bears the full responsibility, regardless of how automated the action may seem. AI is a tool, not a shield, for immorality. This raises another concern. Over-reliance on AI can also blur moral judgment. When a machine provides answers or suggestions, people may accept them blindly, without questioning whether they align with Islamic ethics. Slowly, discernment weakens, and the ability to distinguish halal from haram diminishes. AI can serve humanity, or it can mislead it. The difference lies in human responsibility. Machines cannot sin, but humans can, And when they use AI carelessly or maliciously, the spiritual and moral consequences fall squarely on their shoulders. Islam teaches us a simple but powerful principle. Avoid what clearly leads to sin, even if it is not explicitly haram. This guidance applies perfectly to AI. The tool itself is neutral. It can illuminate hearts and minds, or it can spread confusion and misguidance. For instance, AI used to spread authentic Islamic knowledge is a blessing. It can make learning the Quran, Hadith, and fiqh easier, assist in dawah, and even become a form of ibadah when used sincerely. But the same AI, if misused, can spread falsehoods, amplify anti-Islam agendas, or create haram content, and that becomes a source of sin. As Muslims, our responsibility is clear. We must consciously choose to use AI's beneficial aspects, avoid its harmful sides, and judge every interaction with taqwa, God consciousness. Blind reliance or careless use is not an option. Intention and discernment matter deeply. On the Day of Judgment, Allah will question us. What did you do with the tools and knowledge I entrusted to you? AI is part of that trust. Will it be counted among the deeds that strengthened faith, spread knowledge, and benefited humanity? Or will it be among those that caused confusion, moral weakness, and harm? The power and potential of AI are enormous, but so is the responsibility. The decision is ours. How we navigate this new digital era will shape not just our own spiritual journey, but also the strength, knowledge, and unity of the Ummah for generations to come.